I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and it is a solo James show. Rich is out of town. He is moving around, thugging with his round, all that, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he's in Florida visiting some family. I think he comes back over this way to our area on Sunday, so I'll probably see him. We'll see. But y'all don't really care about that. Y'all here to hear about, I guess, the furious anger that Rich had, given that he made a diss record that wasn't a diss record at the person that did the thing that pissed him off. He, for those that aren't aware, don't really watch basketball, a basketball player named Bam Adebayo, and that sounds really dismissive saying this, a basketball player named Bam Adebayo, as if, like, if you watch basketball, you know who the fuck he is. He's been the second best player on 2 finals teams, but whatever. Bam Adebayo, multiple-time All-Star, had one of the most shocking scoring outbursts in NBA history. Actually, I gotta take that back. The most shocking in NBA history. He scored the second most points ever in an NBA game. He scored 83 points. The news for most of it is that he passed number 2 at the time, which was Kobe Bryant, which had been there for 20 years. I think maybe, back in January, me and Rich did a segment on One Nation Radio about kind of setting the place for where we were in time when it happened, because it was such a monumental occasion in that era. It was an impossible concept that someone could score 80 points, and he did it. And for me, that will always be there. My memories are not changed or tarnished or tainted or eclipsed by Bam Adebayo doing this, because I'm aware of the era of change in the NBA. I believe when we talked about this, I was saying it was the most impressive scoring outbreak ever in a single game, because of the fact that Kobe was getting these shots from where he was getting it from. These were a lot of three-pointers, a lot of contested twos from the mid-range, and an overall display of just NBA jam. He's on fire, especially in the second half, to end up with those 81 points. To be at a situation where I believe they were losing in the fourth quarter, and by the end of the game, they had like a 14 point lead or something, and I think they pulled Kobe out with a couple minutes left. It was the most shocking thing. Like, back in this time, this happened on the same Sunday as the AFC and NFC championship games for football, the Final Four of the NFL season. And that was the story for basically all of the sports world on ESPN and sports radio. Was the A block. They talked about that for a full week. I was there. I lived it. I watched all of it. PTI, Around the Horn, Sports Center, any vertical ESPN property was covering Kobe for a week. A Media Instant Classic, Hardwood Classic, played on ESPN Classic, played it on NBA TV, all the times people could watch it. It was a regular on NBA TV to watch it over the years, to see it. It would play that game just at some point during the year. So for me, that is a memory that we baked into my brain, and is something I will always think of when it comes to Kobe. And for me, Bam Adebayo scoring 83 does not change that. In fact, I am impressed in that way, because Bam Adebayo is not the player that has outbreaks like this. I believe his previous career high was 40, in the low 40s. This is somebody that I never would have expected would have scored 50 in an NBA game. And then he fucks around and scores 83. So watching or hearing about it, I was not watching that game. I was watching somebody play through Resident Evil 9. And then I started getting messages from a group chat that has Rich in it. And by that point in time, I'm reading through it, and it says Bam has 70 or 60, 70. Oh my God, he's approaching 80. This is bullshit. This is a group chat includes Lakers fans besides just Rich. And then it says he passed Kobe's 81, and I was just like, nah. I understand they're saying this. This ain't April 1st, but I don't believe this. And I go to Twitter, which is saying something given what Twitter is now, looking for verification from ESPN's account or NBA's account or the Miami Heat's account, and I can't find it. I keep seeing numbers that are in the 70s or he's at 80, but I need to see verification that he actually passed 81. I need to see it. And then eventually, after scrolling, maybe like 4 or 5 times, I see 83, and then it's just shocking. I can't believe it. And then what happens is, because I had been away from my phone, I then look at Twitter, which is the negative hellscape that we know, and it is immediately, this is bullshit. This is a fraudulent number. He took 40 something, thinks 43 free throws. This is bullshit. This is gambling. This is all sorts of things, that then all the way up to the most conspiratorial thing, which is that the NBA, I believe it was correct, Ice Cube, Lil Cube, the WWE extreme identifier or identity extremist, he he goes on to say that he believes that Bam breaks the streak and it has something to do with LeBron in erasing Kobe's legacy. And I'm like, huh. So LeBron's career high is 61. You think LeBron wanted someone to break, or it's not, I can't say break because it's not the record, but wants to break number 2, get number 2, which would then put someone at 83, which then means someone scored 22 more points more than LeBron in a game, and it's Bam Adebayo. He's never played with Bam Adebayo except for Team USA basketball. Maybe he played with him in a couple All-Star games. It's a real reach. It's real CTE. It's real SEC fandom message board. And then it reminds me, oh yeah, that's right. The Lakers and the Lakers fandom at its hardcore. There are plenty of great Lakers fans. Twitter makes it seem as though it's not, and this week definitely made it seem like that. But I will tell you this: there are great Lakers fans that are prideful and love the purple and gold, and love LA and all that kind of stuff. And it's a worldwide brand. It's the New York Yankees of basketball. It's the Dallas Cowboys of basketball. It's Real Madrid. It's all that shit for the NBA. And I forgot that, including that, they have the biggest and nastiest online presence when it comes to jealousy, conspiratorial nonsense, shit that don't make no sense, but they get it off. And yeah, it's very similar to, if you watch pro wrestling, if you're listening to the show, it's very similar to the WWE people that don't want AEW to exist. It's very much the sport kind of bends towards us, or this entertainment medium bends towards us, and we've had a privileged life at every step. And when we get the slightest bit of anything that doesn't go our way, which I don't know how it doesn't go their way, Kobe still scored 81 fucking points in a game, it turns into all the world is against us. And gotta be honest, in the last 5 years, I actually believe the NBA is against the Lakers. Actually more than 5 years, probably the last decade or so. We'll take it back. 2012, the Chris Paul trade is when I was like, okay. And then the new ownership with all the other owners leads to a lot of them, I believe, playing, what do you call it? Private equity games, at the expense of what historically happens in the NBA, which tends to be like, yeah, players, teams, networks have always, and the location have always benefited the Lakers. And basically, it seems like over the last 15 years or plus or whatever else, the league has done everything they can to fuck over the Lakers in ways that are behind the scenes. But people are saying this about Bam Adebayo getting 43 free throws. And granted, no one ever gets that number of free throws unless they're a shitty free throw shooter. Bam happens to not be a shitty free throw shooter, so it rings alarm bells. But the problem is, once you see the highlight reels, the extended highlight clips of this basically G League level team, minor league level team of the Wizards, where they have made these trades to acquire, in a really bad season, to acquire Anthony Davis, acquire Trae Young, and basically sit both of them so they can tank and also get their pick in this upcoming draft that's loaded, and then the next year's draft isn't worth a damn. So you have this weird situation where this league is in this weird spot where literally 10 of the 30 teams are trying to tank to get draft positions or keep their draft pick in this loaded draft because they know next year's draft, if they stink, they ain't finna get shit because next year's draft stinks. And there are legitimately 3-4 potential franchise-changing players in this upcoming draft. So everybody's holding on to their lotto tickets at all costs, and they are doing unethical things to the nastiest degree, the most shameful degree it's ever been done, even though it's always been done in the league. But now it's flat out tankathon. It is Master P, make him sing on the basketball court in the music video with the gold tank behind him. It's that level of tank. It's a real life tank going on. So the Wizards are pathetic. They're out there against the Miami Heat, who have been on a great run of late. I think they've won something like 5 of 7 or maybe 6 of 6 or something like that now lately. They have pulled themselves out of what they've been in, stuck in this play-in hell, and they're now a top 6 seed in the East. And they're doing it right now without Tyler Hero playing, without Nikola Jovic, not Jokic, Jovic. They have a young guy named Jovic. And also without Norman Powell. Like 2 other guys that could also make an all-star team potentially, or all-star level talent, are not playing. The ball is getting funneled to Bam Adebayo, and Bam Adebayo is going nuts. He knocked down like what seemed like 4 threes in the first quarter, which opened up the game. And then you look at the Wizards lineup after Alex Sarr. Nobody else on that team is even a big wing. Everybody else is a skinny 6'8" person or shorter. So Bam is getting by Alex Sarr after he's opened up the floor with the white hot shooting, and then he gets downhill and does whatever he wants. And Alex Sarr can't do nothing. And once he's by Alex Sarr, there's no rim protection. And Bam's big, so he just go up there, dunk, go up there, lay it up. And the only hope they have is to foul him with these small guys, and he's getting to the rim, getting and ones, and what have you. And it's shocking watching the highlights. It's one thing to see the number and then see the foul shots and say this is bullshit. But for 3 quarters in 2 minutes, so for, of the 48 minutes of 80 or 38 minutes of it, Bam's going nuts in the way that you see scoring outbreaks done historically. He's going all time. And then the Wizards get tired of getting destroyed, and they start throwing double teams at Bam. And then the double teams don't even work. And as they're double teaming, they're fouling him. And they're legitimate fouls, so he goes to the line, he's knocking out free throws. And then by the time he gets to like around 70 points, 73 points, something like that, that's when the Miami Heat look up and say, he has a chance to get to 81. And then the Miami Heat coaching staff and team that are pumping the ball to him, happy about this guy that is the captain of this team, they start pumping him the ball. They start doing flat out unethical things to get more possessions, to get him the ball. They start fouling while they're up big at the end of this game to get more possessions for Bam, and they're throwing him the ball against triple teams, turning triple teams. And the sorry ass Wizards against triple teams can't, one, stop the ball from getting into Bam's hands, can't get him to come off the ball without fouling him, which sends him to the line even more. And then what would have probably been like a 77-point game, 75-point game, between the sorry-ass Wizards, coaching staff, and Spoelstra and the rest of the coaching staff from Miami grifting to inflate the number, somehow gets past Kobe. So, a part of the outrage is, a big part of it is, and people aren't talking about this, I don't think, is the NBA is very online. And by saying that, it means people that watch League Pass start tweeting, start messaging, and start saying, hey, Bam has 31 points in the first quarter. Bro, he has damn near 50 at halftime. Bro, he has 62 or 63 at the end of the third quarter. And then people tune in from there after being notified that somebody's going all-time historic at that time. And then when they finally get around to tuning in to watch the game, they see the end of it and they assume that was the entire game and immediately dismiss it. Now, as I said it earlier, with me, Bam scoring 83 does not change what I think of Kobe's 81. But when it comes to the sicko Lakers fans, the sicko Kobe fans, the fans that will go and whack LeBron James's mural as he becomes a Laker and someone puts it up to ingratiate the city to a all-time great player deciding to come try to save the franchise, because apparently that's like that particular wall is like cheating on Kobe. I don't know what went through that person's mind, but obviously really talented people. When you whack out a mural, you tag and demolish somebody's graffiti mural, somebody just comes right back and fixes it, right? A lot of talented street artists. Anyway, but that is what we're dealing with. And when people don't think about it that way, but like that ain't too many steps away from poisoning trees. Like the nastiest parts of Lakers fandom looks a lot like SEC fandom, where it's like, yo, these people need to chill. And the problem is, you tell them to chill, they want to fight. And because they've been fighting their whole lives, and especially in relation to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is probably the first athlete for me that I saw their entire career from start to finish, of an all-time great player in any sport, really. Where I can say I was there from the beginning, the shows of the flashes of promise, the failures, the air balls, the becoming an all-star, the becoming one of the best players in the world, becoming the best player in the world, becoming a living legend, and a good chunk of that for a lot of the people that had that fight for him and his place in history, from all those moments I just mentioned to today, is what makes his legacy unique is the 81. This is a person that gets dismissed historically because people just immediately say, oh, lesser Jordan clone. And granted, being a lesser Jordan clone ain't no slight. That's still one of the 10 greatest basketball players of all time. But you got to understand, this is a dude that won 5 championships. There's an argument he should have 2 MVPs. He only got 1, which leads to historical disrespect that his fandom has about this stuff and how it worked out. And then as somebody, 7 years or so younger, was clearly on trajectory to pass him, given that LeBron was better than him at every age going forward, there was always this, he's a living legend, he's the best in the world, and he's still in his prime, but there's somebody that's younger that shouldn't be in their prime, and they're taking it from him. And it was hard adjustment. Around 2000, when 2009 was going on, I was flat out telling, after 2008, what happened with the Lakers losing that finals, going and losing the 6, getting embarrassed, and LeBron with a lesser supporting cast taking that same team, the Celtics, that beat that Lakers team to 7, and then the next year he got better. It was like, okay, I've thought Kobe Bryant was the best basketball player in the world from 2002 or 3 to 2008. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think LeBron has the belt in the middle of this season. And as a person around Rich and other Lakers fans, Kobe fans, I was getting a lot of shit about it. And it kept going in the rest of the run until Kobe retired, or actually when he tore his Achilles. That was the end of it, really. There was no real argument after that. The argument went from where he stands as far as who has the belt to who's better historically. And it was just like, it was only a matter of time for LeBron to pass him because the dude was a goddamn tank. There was a difference. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about a guy that's the second greatest basketball player of all time, and in some people's argument, the best basketball player of all time, to most people's eyes, compared to a guy that had a really weird mix in, I would say the word would be, there's a lot of vacillation. He's very polarizing as far as where he ranks historically. There are people that have him out this top 10, which I think he's closer to fucking 1 than 10. Give me a goddamn break. And then there's people that have him at 1. I'm like, I probably put him somewhere around the 5 to 8, whatever else. But people grew up watching him, and I was one of the people that watched him, so I get it. Outside of LeBron, there's no other athlete I've seen play more games than Kobe, right? And as a person that was real close to becoming a Lakers fan, but ultimately didn't, because I was like, hey, this is a players' league. I fuck around. If I was going to follow a player to become an NBA fan in the way I did with the Vikings, I'd be a Chicago Bulls fan. Think how miserable that's been most of the last 26 years, 28 years. So, I was a person that was here in Florida fighting the fight for Kobe. So, when it was, is it T-Mac or Kobe, or is it Vince or Kobe? Is it Iverson or Kobe? It was like, no, man, it's Kobe. Y'all crazy. Like, y'all gotta get outside yourselves. And I understand that, like, we're right next to Orlando. We see all the games on local TV. I watch the same games you do. My grandma loved T-Mac. My grandma was a diehard Orlando Magic fan. It was Kobe. So for me, it was easier to see how all this stuff was going and all this stuff around Kobe. And I've been a part of fighting for Kobe Bryant's legacy when I felt he wasn't given his due. And then on the other end, while I felt I was giving his due historically, to my friends that were Lakers fans, they felt I wasn't giving them enough. And they aren't as crazy as other people you see online. And they are online, and this is a part they're fighting for. What made the biggest unique thing Kobe had in his legacy is he has 81. Michael Jordan ain't got 81. LeBron ain't got 81. Steph Curry ain't got 81. Tim Duncan ain't got 81. Shaq ain't got 81. It was 81. The thing that I think is getting lost historically in this about the 81 was it wasn't just 81. He scored 60, I think it's 62 against the Dallas Mavs, the team that represented the Western Conference in the finals that year. He scored 62 points on them in 3 quarters and was kicked. And I believe the score was Kobe had 62 and the Mavs had like 61. He sat because he was ahead. And at that point in time, this was in a run where Kobe was having the greatest scoring point per game season the NBA had seen since Jordan in the late 80s. We never thought we were going to see someone average 35, 36 points a game ever again. And he was doing it in this terrible era to score in, where there was no spacing, no advantage for guards to do this kind of stuff. And he was doing it. And he was doing it after he had probably the worst year of his prime, because he missed the playoffs the year before. It was revenge season. I'll never forget that. Like, all the talk about Kobe Bryant from 01 Kobe in the playoffs, or 09, 2010 Kobe, 2006 Kobe is the best year of Kobe Bryant we've ever seen, or I've ever seen. And it wasn't just 81. It was this dude got pulled out of a game where he had 62, and we'll never know if he could have gotten 81 earlier. We'll never know any of them other nights where he got pulled out, what he could have done. It was the part where he was unstoppable, and you never knew what you were going to wake up to and see on ESPN the next night. I'm never going to forget that a day in my life. Unless I get dementia and lose my memory, I will die just being like, Kobe Bryant did what I thought was impossible and was doing it with regularity in 2006, particularly January 2006. And I'll never forget it. I don't give a damn if someone scores 100. So for me, I I don't get that. And maybe it's a part where, you know, not everybody's my age. A lot of people are younger. I'm 38 now. A lot of people, they weren't around. They don't have full context of this stuff in real time. And a lot of people also forget what I just said about he averaged fucking 40 for a whole month. So I think what's happening is people are doing this cult protection thing to preserve his legacy now. And I'm like, if 81 was the only thing in his legacy, he ain't got much of a legacy. Because Bam has 83. Whose legacy would you rather have? Would you even consider what Bam's career has been to be considered compared to other NBA contemporaries and Hall of Famers and All-Stars and all-timers as a legacy? Or would you just say it's a great career? So that's the thing that for me is what I'm thinking about all this. But seeing the online people losing their minds about it, mischaracterizing what happened from the vast majority of the game, dismissing it as, you know, they're wiping their ass with the thing. And it's like, all right, man, if this era is so easy to play ball in, where is everybody else's 83-point game? Because Bam scored 83 points, and he is not a top 20 scorer in this league. Where was Kevin Durant's 83 points? Where was Steph Curry's 83 points? I get it. You guys, it's Twitter, it's the online space. There's not much room for nuance or try to get off whatever your point. But you ain't got to be nasty at the dude as if he did something wrong. We've seen people gun for numbers in all sports. I believe the tagline for that is chasing greatness. There's going to be an unethical ball to get to whatever else. And I honestly feel that if it wasn't 81 points, if it had been just 80 points, people wouldn't have acted like this. But once you surpass it, it turns into what I've seen online the last few days. And like, quite frankly, I didn't want to do this damn show solo. This is much more entertaining if Rich had been here. Rich made a damn diss track. And I think I like that he didn't have smoke for Bam. I like that he pointed out all of the weird factors that I just mentioned of how we got here to this point that made it fascinating and also shameful for the league in that way that the Wizards are ass. And they were put in a position where a guy that is a two-way defend first guy goes off and almost doubles his career high. So yeah, man, like for me, I'm not about to diminish what Bam did outside of saying, hey, I was there. This ain't what the Kobe thing was. And also there wasn't no, shenanigans at the end of the game with the Kobe thing. And I'll also say, like, it was shocking. Because once you put on the highlight reel and you watch what happens, it looks like somebody's going all time. And for the people that watched the whole game or tuned in after Bam had 31, which is like a top 10 output for any quarter in an NBA game, and watched most of it and saw an all-time performance, an all-time night, I think your opinion is going to be different than the people that are checking the box score, looking at Twitter, which is a cesspool for dismissing anything any player does at this point. So, yeah, I just find it all fascinating, and I think, like, there are roadmaps, there are exits on the road between, we know that this isn't, like, more impressive than the Kobe 81, and fuck Bam, fuck the Heat, fuck the Wizards, fuck this league, I hate basketball now. Or this is another example of, Silver's NBA and they want to round them up now. It's really weird that we talk like this. And I was talking to Rich and my cousin Alex, another Lakers fan, about how the times have changed as far as when it comes to online discourse when someone has a great performance. It used to be someone scores 60, you say, damn, how did that happen? You look it up and you like, then you talk about it for a few days. And it kind of all turned around the time Luka got his 70, I think 73. That's when people were like, yo, this isn't a legitimate 73 points. And it's like, that's the most legitimate 73 points we've seen since Kobe, probably. Like, no one had a problem with Dame doing it because Dame is Dame. Dame's a Hall of Famer, right? I think Dame made the 75 team. Yeah, he made the 75 team, right? I think the thing with Booker was like, Booker's the one that's actually is weird because they were getting their ass blown out and he's scoring all these points. And he was super young. We didn't know he was going to become Devin Booker, one of the best players of this generation. Of this era of basketball, of the last 10 years. So yeah, I just find it all fascinating and part disheartening, and like, why can't we get to a being a less hyperbolic? But that's not what the timeline for. That ain't gonna get you likes, that ain't gonna get you clicks. I get it, but that ain't gotta be how the people that get paid to cover this sport responsibly act. Like, we ain't gotta be first take. But yeah, so I guess I'm done. It's 35 minutes talking about Bam and Kobe, which is longer than I thought we were going to go, but here we are. Rich might come. Rich might come back next week and want to talk about his part more than just the diss record. But yeah, it's
Thank you for calling the Bombas Comfort Line. Bombas make socks, slippers, tees, and underwear made with the highest quality materials. Press 1 for comfort, 2 for style, 3 for donation. You chose style. Bombas has styles for whatever you enjoy. You can run in Bombas, lounge in Bombas, dress them up, dress them down, but always give back in Bombas. Because with every item purchased, another is donated. Bombas, comfort worth calling for. Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
I think it's time to move over to pro wrestling. AEW Revolution preview. I think AEW has been on fire and has made a lot of great dynamites in the lead up to this show. And then you look at the card and you're like, yo, how many of these matches could, with the right time, right placement, whatever else, potentially go and get 4 stars? Be a great match. And I'm looking at it, and I'm going to go through the whole card, but I just want to just quickly go through this. Would anyone be shocked if Darby Allin and Cassidy and Roddy and the Dolls go out there and have a great match? I don't think so, especially as we think it's going to be early in the show. They might try to have a really fast, sprinty match. Is real fun, right? Tony Marina. A lot of heat because people love them as characters and love the dynamic between them when they touch. Tony Storm can have a great match. Marina, this is a big moment for her to show and prove. I won't be shocked that they had. I expect a really good match. I'm not expecting a great match, but I won't be shocked that they had a great match. Brody King and Swerve. No one's shocked they have a great match. No one. Bandito and Andrade. No one's shocked that they have a classic. Okada and Aussie Open versus Mystico and Jet Speed. Trios title match. That seems like easy money to be great. That's going to be a party match. It's Mystico in LA. I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm going to enjoy seeing that. They're going to sing the song. He's going to be over like a god in there. I want someone to chart the walk up. I want someone to chart the walk up to see how many tickets he helped move once he got announced. FTR versus the Young Bucks. You're expecting a classic. We're going into it expecting a classic. It's the Young Bucks versus FTR in Southern California in the Staples Center. I would not be shocked if this is their best match. Would not be shocked in the slightest. Moxley versus Takeshita. No time limit. We've already seen them have 2 all-time matches already. Tekla versus Statlander. Great strap match. Dynamic of them now going down in the violence, but having to have a great match. It wouldn't be shocking. MJF versus Adam Page. Is Adam Page in a title main event on pay-per-view in Texas Death? When has he ever had anything other than a classic in those types of circumstances? He's one of the best wrestlers of his generation, and MJF is also great when he's on his shit, and I expect him to be on his shit. They're going to have a match of the year candidate, I imagine. So, yeah, it's a great card, and I think what's more impressive is the week-to-week build they've had since World's End to get all the way from the end of December. Was it December 29th or whatever the fuck, to get to March 15th, including building up the Grand Slam in Australia. I think they've been great. I think they've been great on TV, and let's go through it. So, 0 Hour. Willow versus Lena Cross for the TBS title match. Lena and Willow doing double duty, and also with the tag team title match on the main card. This seems like a setup for Willow to retain here and then lose via Harley later in the show. But we'll see, because I'll be damned if the American Himika, my Hime, comes out here and loses to Harley Cameron. That's nonsense. There's almost like brothers or sisters of destruction. They should never lose once they get these tag titles. So we'll move on from there. Ricochet defending the national title in a 21-man battle royal, blackjack battle royal. I believe Tommaso Ciampa's in it, which leads me to believe that Mark Bristol's going to be in it. This is going to be a fun match on 0 Hour. They have 2 matches that are worth watching on the 0 Hour. I might not watch it because it, like I mentioned, that main card has 10 matches and there ain't a bad match on that card. So I might want to conserve my energy because it's going to be an exhausting show from just the energy of seeing some of the crazy shit you're going to see in that trios match with Mystico in it, to seeing the Young Bucks and FTR, to seeing Takeshita and Moxley, to seeing Texas Death at the end. And then also there's a fucking Andrade and Bandito match on here. So yeah, sorry, I'll check it out later, but I'm expecting good things anyway. Main card. Darby, Cassidy, Strong versus the Dogs. This is all in service of showing what we're going to do with David Finlay going forward. Watched the Dynamite, the Go Home show, and wasn't that impressed with David Finlay. While it was a really good match, he didn't stand out. That's not great as a first impression. Rich did the whole thing of he's not a star, and I thought that was a bit too harsh, just saying it that way. But ultimately, what he's saying is, hey man, we got Mike Bailey on this damn roster. Do you see what Mike Bailey did with Kyle Fletcher? That's a star level performance. David Finlay in that tag match, while a very good match, that ain't putting the spotlight on you for a first impression or a second impression or first impression really on Dynamite. Not quite. But got the win with interference from Clark Connors taking out, I believe they took out Orange Cassidy, which left Darby out there to have to fight 2-on-1, and he ultimately couldn't overcome those odds against Finlay and Gabe Kidd, and they get the win. And there were some really fun double team moves that they had on Darby. Pause. And I expect with Roddy, they were laying the beat down on all those guys. Roddy comes out. They're teasing as if Roddy, after all the I'm not a part of the conglomeration, he leaves Orange Cassidy hanging a few weeks ago. He comes back, looks like he's about to join the Dogs. And then he makes a save for Orange Cassidy in the trios match. I thought that was nice. I don't want to root against Roddy Strong right now. He's that's a hardworking man. Don't want to root against him, quite honestly. Just don't. I like his get down. He wrestles ethically. He's a tough white man that brings his lunch pail to work, and he out there in that sun sweating up a storm, going crazy, knee strikes, suplexes, back breaking. What's more to love? What's not to love about Roger Strong, the great wrestler he's been all these years? I don't want to boo him. And he's out there, and he did the storyline which we all wanted, which is he's playing like he's not a part of conglomeration, even though he's still affiliated with O'Reilly, O'Reilly's clearly in conglomeration. Just piece it up with Orange Cassidy, and he makes save for him. And it's a nice little moment that's earned because they built towards that for months and months, most of the last year. So yeah, glad to see them united fighting. Hell, throw Darby in his well, I'm not going to say that. Put the school shooter in conglomeration. It is a land of misfit toys as a conglomeration, so you may as well add another one. Add the biggest misfit into the toy box of misfit toys. Why not? So next match. Oh, I expect Finlay to get the win to cement his debut and treat him as an Impact player and treat the Dogs as an Impact faction. That's what I would do. So moving forward, Harley and Willow versus Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. Already touched upon it. Basically, they put Lena Cross in after they injected her into this after what's her name? Penelope kept getting pinned in Australia and also in the rematch, and they have shown Lena Cross to be a force similar or of equal value to Megan Bayne, given that they're just two skyscrapers or the Twin Towers. And I think that the inaugural AEW Women's Tag Team title reign of Babes of Wrath ends here. It's time to put them on some evils, and we finna see them smoke out people for a while. And I think we're going to get a tag team women's house match down the line between, I don't know what the hell Cross and Bayne are calling each other, but versus Babes of Wrath. That is a Donnybrook. That is a slobber knocker. That is a tough white woman match. I don't think I've ever called a match that before, but that has all the makings. That's a lot of clubs and forearms and elbows and fists and European uppercuts and chops. I want to see that match. Get this Cameron. Look, Willow's the TBS champion. She's going to be on here. Get this Harley Cameron Wakasuki or Wakamania run out of here. She has served her purpose. She's had her moment. She's there to eat the pin. She has nearly escaped eating the pin for a while now. Now it's time to go ahead and lay it down. So yeah, time up for the evils. Next match after that, Toni Storm versus Marina Shafir. No one's allowed at ringside. So basically Continental title rules. I think they're gonna have a good match. They have heat. They have chemistry. They're going back to Blood and Guts. We've had smoke between these two. That was November. We are in March. This has been This has been one of the deep story paths of two people that hate each other's guts and want to beat each other up. And I say good. Get Wheeler Yuta the fuck out the way. Get Dan Garcia the fuck out the way. Get that dictator in that lucha mask at 6'4", Claudio, out of the way. Moxie's predisposed. Pac, you stay away. Let the women settle the differences. This is a weird match in that they've had the tag matches throughout the time when you had the Timeless Love Bomb versus Megan Bain and Marina, and they overcame them in the tag title tournament. And now you get a blow off for Toni Storm, and she mentioned it like after this. She's like, after I get through with you, I want back into the AEW Women's World Title picture. Don't know if that's going to happen, but that's setting the table for if she loses, does Marina get involved into one of these women's tag or women's title pictures? Does she keep her eye on Willow in the TBS? We will see. But yeah, I like it. I think it's the right place for it. They've built towards this for a long time. They're both over. I don't think, unless they get put in some depth spot behind like the Young Bucks and FTR, I think you put them on early, they're going to have the crowd, and it's still Toni Storm. The crowd still loves her. And I loved her John Moxley joke about having ovaries. She's still a fucking hoot. She's still out of her damn mind. I love her. And it's going to be fun. Next match. Brody King versus Swerve. Yeah, man. Now, not all title matches are for belts. Some titles are for things like being called the most dangerous man in AEW. And that's what this match is. And they built towards this well. They have used the chain expertly. In the go-home show, Swerve, who Brody King has been looking for backstage and around the area, around the arena, because of the awesomeness of Kyle Fletcher versus Mike Bailey, there was a standby match. And the standby match was some unlucky schmuck gets to face Brody King, who's pissed off and has not had time to put on the gear. So he's wrestling in this street apparel. And he proceeded to clothesline the fuck out that man, like as if he was Stan Hansen or if he was Mirai. And then Gonzo bombs him to hell, gets the pin, and we never see that guy again. And if we do, like, I want to see him on Dynamite next week in a neck brace. That's how badly he whooped this man's ass. It was two moves that looked utterly devastating. So after that happens, Brody King talks to the camera. He's facing away from the barricade, has fans in the back barking with him and chanting "fuck Ice." And all of a sudden, a black man and a shiesty proceeds to put a steel chain around Brody King's neck, and the crowd is somehow, for some reason, surprised as to who it was. And I was like, well, the black man has a chain and is wearing the Brody King shiesty besides Swerve Strickland. Swerve unmasked and the crowd pops like, oh, it's Swerve Strickland. Like, you damn dunces. What the fuck's going on in San Jose? Anyway, gets him into the ring and he proceeds to choke him with the chain again like the week before. Except this time, Brody King said, I've had enough of your shit. He proceeds to grab the chain and rip the chain apart as if he was Mark Henry inside a elimination chamber. And Swerve makes a face like, oh, what is better than that? Gotta go right now. Gotta go right now. He tries to skedaddle out the ring. Brody King grabs this black man by his locks, snatches him back, and starts putting belt to ass. Well, not actual literal belt to ass, metaphorical belt to ass. He then grabs half of that chain that was ripped apart. Brody King wraps it around his neck, gets Swerve on the apron, and then does the Brody King choke with the chain. Looks super painful. Swerve gets out of it by doing an arm breaker on Brody King's hand. arm, and Brody King sells it in a way to where it's like, oh, that's going to lead into the match. This is how Swerve doesn't get destroyed because of the gigantic size difference. And I thought that was interesting, and Swerve is great at targeting, at limb work when it comes to targeting and picking apart an injury. And this is how you get a match between these two guys that can go for longer than 8 minutes, and it can carry because Brody King gets to be a force and gets to be a hoss and also gets to sell. So yeah, I think this match is gonna be great. And I also want to give shout out to Brody King and Swerve for figuring out a way for a white man to choke a black man with a chain being involved and it not having any allusions to lynching. That's really hard to do. When I saw this, I was like, oh no. And then once they did it that way with the chain wrapped around the neck, I was like, oh, Swerve in his programs is always figuring out ways of thinking and not being put into some weird, poor racial optic looks. So I thought that was smart to avoid that, because Swerve with that chain, the second it happens, I was wary of Texas Death with him and Hangman Page because of that. And then sure enough, they flipped the tables. You know what? We're not even going to do that. In fact, we're going to have Swerve choke that white man out. Brilliant. 5 stars. All-time classic match. So, yeah, we'll move forward to the next one. Shout out to Adam Page for for saying yes. Let me get choked out by this black man. That's the allyship I want. So yeah, Bandito versus Andrade. Man, Andrade in the AEW World Title hunt, Brody King in the AEW World Title hunt. Both the cards didn't shake out the way they wanted to shake out. And Brody King gets pulled into this Swerve thing. And Bandito says, you know what? I was in the AEW World Title hunt. How do I get back into it? You got to fight other people in the AEW World Title hunt. That's what's making this whole thing interesting. It was made this whole build at the start of AEW's year to this point where all these guys that are great wrestlers all want the title. It works as MJF's way of having people fight their way to the top, fight through a gauntlet to get to him without it being his whichever, new group faction of guys for people to go through. Like, whether it was the Pinnacle or it was whatever was after the Pinnacle, where it's always his goons. To get to him, you have to go through all these people, like the trials of Jericho for Jericho to finally get to MJF. No more of that. We've already done that. You've exhausted it. We found a better way. Have the best wrestle. Ain't that a tagline of AEW? And this is the best wrestling. Bandito was one of the handful of best pro wrestlers in the world in the ring, bell to bell, all year last year. And Andrade showed up back in AEW after the weird, no compete nonsense when he came back. And he has proceeded to make up for lost time. He's been shot out of goddamn cannon. He's had great matches with Swerve, great matches with Kenny Omega, great matches with Yota Tsuji. He's in New Japan. He's on fire, and this might be his best opponent this year. No slight to Swerve, no slight to Kenny Omega, but y'all, these two are rarely in the ring with their contemporaries and peers and talent level, and they both speak their native language. This is going to be a walk in the park for these two. These two might fuck around and have the best wrestling match. MJF and Adam Page, they finna have a nasty ass match that is bound to be all time and probably be the match most remembered on this card. I don't think they're going to out-wrestle Andrade and Bandito. Have you not seen what Bandito has been in AEW and Ring of Honor? Have you not seen what Andrade has been since he's gotten a new lease on life in his pro wrestling career? This is going to be nuts. I don't know what this is going to be. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. So, next match after that. Oh, Okada and Ozzy Open versus Mystico and Jet Speed for the AEW Trios World title. And I think the work that the Callis family and the turmoil with Takeshita and Proto-Okada versus Proto-Shida, not versus, but the pull between both for Fletcher. Okada clearly clearly hating Takeshita's guts. Jet Speed and the upset wins that Kevin Knight and the C2 had over Okada and Bayley had over Fletcher. And then on Wednesday, they went out there and they tried they damnedest to have a 5-star match in the middle of Dynamite with a shit finish at the end, and they was damn close to still almost getting 5 stars out of me. My God, those two are great together. My God, those two are two of the most automatic pro wrestlers in the world. My God, if they get a series, they might run off with Feud of the Year worldwide. They're that automatic together. It's Fletcher getting to play big man against a guy that is that athletic is just easy money for him at this point. And Bayley knows that the kind of wrestler that guy is, and he's always trying to have the best match every night. Don't accomplish it all the time, but he's always trying, and that's why I love Mike Bayley. That dude is a go hard. And then you set the table for you have all of that stuff. The trios titles being basically stolen from Rodeo Jet or Jet Set Rodeo via the Kevin Knight having to wrestle 2 title matches in one night. The cheating involved in it. The Fletcher and Mike Bayley dynamic I just talked about. It's Ozzy Open and Okada. It's Ozzy Open and Okada. And now we have Mystico here. Do y'all understand how good Okada is wrestling Mexicans? Wrestling lucha libres? I know I'm saying it crazy. I know, I understand. I'm saying it to get my point across. That man grew up basing for luchadors. He's going to be in there with an all-time great. For those that worry about Okada's give a fuck meter, it's going to be up and stuck. This match is going to be great. I hope they get like 15 minutes. They're going to go fucking nuts. They're going to go nuts. And Lord knows what Mark Davis does. What he might try to powerbomb and lift all 3 of them niggas all together. This is going to be a great match. Great match. This card's fucking awesome. I'm like, after Worlds End, like, I honestly think this has the potential to be like a top 5 AEW pay-per-view, which means an all-time pro wrestling show. Going through this card, I'm just excited. They built this so well. They're firing on all cylinders, as I mentioned earlier. Oh, FTR versus the Young Bucks in the Staples Center. Man, if they have the match that we've always wanted them to have, you know what that means. I'll also throw this out here. As people that don't want as people that I'm around do not want FTR to be in the AEW World Title picture or have the championships whenever Edge and Christian come back around to get their vengeance. And we've dreaded it while they've had these titles. A perfect, or not a perfect, but a good finish would be Big Cope and Christian, fuck them. Titles go to Young Bucks. They do that shit on Coliseum. All away from Dynamite, on pay-per-view, helping draw at the bottom of the card. of Dynasty. That would be great. And the Young Bucks move on and they wrestle like Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin or you know, Jet Speed, whatever. That would be the perfect booking scenario. And Tony Khan has been in his bag all year, booking things to set up for losers to look great after they lose, for winners to look all time as they do that and climb up here. So I wouldn't put it past me. They did it. I called that Tommaso Ciampa was going to turn on Mark Briscoe at Australia. I was wrong on that, but he turned on him later. They're setting these things up where you can kind of see, like, if they do this would be interesting. They've set up a lot of possibilities where there are no necessarily wrong ideas for how they get through some of these things. Outside of, the Young Bucks got to win this match. FTR wins the match in LA. I don't know when they're going to go to Charlotte or whatever the fuck to try to get that back. I don't think they should be doing that. That's kind of nasty. This isn't that heated of a rivalry anymore, in my opinion. So this isn't like, you know, MJF beating CM Punk in Chicago, right? That was nasty. That was needed. That was a nice story beat. You don't need FTR beating the Young Bucks in LA. So yeah, Young Bucks been on fire for a year. Ever since they, you know, reprogrammed that heel shit. Now they're on the babyface side. They've been killing it. I thought that trios match with them Bucks, Young Bucks and Mark Briscoe versus FTR and Tommaso Ciampa was like right up my alley. For me, this is 6 of the all-time great tag team pro wrestlers in the history of the industry, all linking up in different ways. And they tease different things that, like, okay, so you end up with the power bomb cutter with the Young Bucks and Mark Briscoe that the Briscoes used to do. They tease Cash and Ciampa doing the meet in the middle super kick, running knee joint that DIY used to do. There was a ton of things, tons of dives in this, tons of breakups, tons of near falls. I thought this match was super fun. And yeah, man, I thought that was a really good preview for what a 2v2 would be, because we've already seen it. We've seen them have great matches. I've seen matches that I thought were great, ultimately or below my expectation level. I think this is the one where they have their best match. And I think their second match that they had, their second match was their best match. I love that match, but I didn't give it 5 stars. I think this is when they have the match of the year contender that shines through for a whole season of the pro wrestling calendar. This is the one. This is the opportunity to do it. It's Staples or crypto, whatever the fuck, you know. I expect to see Lakers streamers and all that kind of stuff. I expect to see the Bucks fall from the sky. I expect to see all the pageantry from 2 of the all-time great tag teams. I expect them to go out there and do it. This is the time to do it. What better time? What better place than here? What better time than now? So yeah. Next match. Oh, Jon Moxley versus Shinsuke Takeshita. No time limit. Another match is gonna be fucking awesome. These two have great chemistry. They've always had great chemistry. Their Road to style matches that they've had over the past few weeks, I've loved all of them. I love their interactions when the chips are down and they both get in here. Oh, and shout out to Big Hechicero. Hechicero went out there on at the opener of Wednesday against Claudio and showed that nigga the alchemy. You can be the strongest pound for pound, the strongest man in pro wrestling. You can have all the Olympic lifting, big Swiss. You can have all that, but you ain't got the graps. Claudio was out there trying to guard that man, looking like Alex Sarr trying to guard Bam Adebayo. He put that man in all sorts of moves. He put him in and out of pins when you realize he was in and out of pins. He rolled that. He basically the Manami roll with a damn matchbox leg cradle all around the ring. Ref had to get out the way. He didn't know what the fuck it was. He thought it was a Resident Evil stalker coming at him. No, that's Hechicero swirling and twirling this 6'4" nigga. Yeah, man. Hechicero's awesome. Glad he's doing this double duty thing between CMLL and AEW. I enjoy every time I see him. And this is a great tag preview match. And ultimately at the end, after getting his ass played with and toyed with throughout the whole match, at the very end, Claudio, almost a ref bump, Headshell turns around, poke the eye, European uppercut, schoolboy, and get the pin. Nasty, unethical grabs from Claudio. But it's heel faction versus heel faction. So it's bastard versus bastard. So good for him for being the one to outsmart the other bastard. So, yeah, man. And inside of that, you saw Takeshita and you saw Moxley just show great chemistry that they've had for years now at this point. I think their first match was 2022, maybe? They've been great. Maybe 2023. Maybe I'm getting my years wrong. But they've had great singles matches, and this is going to be another one. I expect Moxley to bleed like crazy. I expect to see the King Kong Lariat versus the Blue Thunder Bomb and the big knee strike, the Uncle June knee strike. And I see what they've done where you have Don Callis family versus Death Riders, and Don Callis family wants to cheat and they want to maim and they want to hurt Jon Moxley to give Takeshita a unfair advantage going into Revolution that happened in the post match, and it's happened for a few weeks now. And Takeshita has said, nope, I'm getting to the ring with that man and I'm beating him fair and square, and I'm taking away a title that Okada had and I'm putting it on my shoulder, and that's going to lead to Okada about ready to lose his goddamn mind. And I'm here for it. Dynasty, I want my unification match. I want my Takeshita and my Okada match on AEW television, on an AEW pay-per-view. No time limits or whatever the fuck. No ringside interference. Hell, want to make it spicier? Put Kyle Fletcher in the Judy Bagwell spot. Put his ass on a forklift. The winner gets more than just 2 titles. He also get Kyle Fletcher's affection and love. I don't care. Whatever. All those things are at least metatextually at play. I'm ready for all of this stuff. They have set the table so well through all this stuff, and I desperately want my real Okada Takeshita match. I don't want no fucking screwdriver, none of that stuff. I want a clean, pure finish. I want the 100% raw snort. I'm not going to pause or clarify myself. You get what I'm saying. I want that uncut, pure, raw from Colombia. That's what I want. Stop giving me this stepped on shit. I want the real. Let's move on. I believe AEW Women's World Title match. Tekla versus Statlander. It feels to me as if the title loss has changed Statlander in ways that we will see going forward. But we'll be seeing that going forward without the Women's World title. This could lead her down it seems like she's dark, like she's dressing goth, or not goth, I'm sorry, emo, right? Remember Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3, the Raimi Spider-Man 3, where he gets the Venom symbiote and he starts acting outside of himself. The character, the behavior changes. He's dressing in all black, and the hair changes, and it's just something different. There's some different with Chris Statlander in the gear and the demeanor. She's not nearly as alien anymore. Tekla has changed her. She ain't got her going crazy. Not yet, anyway. Time will tell, but something's a brewing. And her failure afterwards is a great story of how she can expand what she's been as a character. And I think it's needed that she has a change. And I think, quite frankly, like after we talked about on the show about her title change, her title reign being so kind of short-lived while the matches were awesome, I don't think that she's been done a disservice, because half the job is the character compelling you to want to watch them have the fight. Once the bell rings, she's in the fight, you want to see her because she's fucking awesome. But what is this character that makes you want to see her fight the big fights? And we tried it a few different ways with her. I think we're trying a different way, and I'm here for it. I'm here willing to give her as many chances as possible, because when you see her in that ring, she deserves as many chances and opportunities as she can possibly get, because once it goes ding, 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 it goes off. So, yeah, I like what's happening. I also love what Tekla's doing. Tekla is just, she's allowed to explore the canvas, if you will. If it's a painting analogy, you get what I'm saying. They're letting her do things in a way that she wasn't doing. They're putting Julia Hart and Sky Blue, they stuffed them two into a fucking locker, thank God, and they've let her just be a solo act with the belt. And so far the last few weeks, and I've appreciated it because she can stand alone. And I think they already knew that. That's why they say, hey, can you take these two problem children for us and carry them along? Okay, you did that for a little bit, so we're gonna reward you by now putting you into the spot. And I think she's done well with it so far. And if it's Toni Storm, that's gonna be fun. But we'll see who the next challenger is posters. But I think this match is going to be good because they have already shown they had good chemistry. And if Statlander wants to lean into the physicality, that ain't a problem for Tekla. Because ultimately, Tekla's going to hit her a lot harder than Stat's going to hit Tekla. So it's up to Statlander to want to bring the smoke as far as the physicality. Like the beautiful wrestling, the basing, the athleticism. Stat got all that. Sometimes she's missing the physicality. Sometimes she doesn't wrestle with the oomph of someone that's her size in the women's division. So seeing a honey badger like Tekla, I think that got brought out in the strap match, and hopefully that also carries over to the regular rules match here. But I expect a very good match at minimum. If they have a great match, huge success for both of them, because I think Tekla is clearly shining, and I think Statlander seems to be zeroing in on something character wise post this in a way that wasn't there even leading up to the championship and even as a champion. So yeah, I think Statlander's made the best of her opportunity even post title. And now, main evento. AEW World title match, MJF versus Adam Page, Texas Death. MJF has put together with Adam Page maybe his best TV outside of the CM Punk feud. He's been on his best behavior. He has matches to defend the title or take on challenges outside the title, and the matches have delivered bigly. Sorry for using Trumpism stuff, but in a major way, he has held up his end of his bar. He has lived up to his potential. So in the 3 months that we've been into this year, and this is a guy that he clearly respects off screen in real life. And Adam Page has always been an MJF whisperer. And even while I've always thought that, I never thought he'd be on his best behavior, especially when he showed back up to get the title at World's End. Because what the fuck was that? That promo he shows up in, I believe they were in the UK, and he cuts that bullshit stuff with Swerve and Paige and Joe there, which led to, them Swerve and Adam Page hog-tying that man in Retribution. But Post that, 2026, they set this thing of we taking him off TV. He's not going to be doing the 20-minute promos and being the MC of the show as a bad guy. We're going to set the table of this is where the best wrestle and the best wrestle for the AEW World Title, whether that's Omega, whether that's Swerve, whether that's Paige, whether that's Andrade, whether that's Brody King, and it's been great to watch. It's been great to see guys fight the best week in and week out and stumble and still find robberies across from each other because of their failure and trying to find ways to get back to the top. Bandito's included in that as well. To get towards an opportunity to face for the AEW World Title. And Adam Page has set himself up to where this is his last damn shot. This is a guy that the crowd has supported organically to get to the AEW World Title twice. One of them's one of the all-time greatest babyface title chases I've ever seen. 2021, right? Then the one last year was a miracle. It was a miracle. What Adam Page did to get to Moxley and all in Texas and choking that man out, making him either die via hanging or making Jon Moxley tap out. You take your pick. Either way, I'm leaving with this fucking title. And he's going to have a crowd behind him again in LA. And he's been awesome. And he better damn well win. This has the potential to be one of the best pro wrestling cards ever. And you look at how it's set up for these great moments. I know the match going to be all time great. But you want to know what people are going to remember at the end of it? It's much like WCW pay-per-views. The undercard can have Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero and Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit and DDP and all those other people all throughout the night. If you come out here with this Hogan Deus Ex Machina bullshit of whatever the fuck you come up with, Wardlow shows up. Even though Wardlow last time we saw him was in fucking Don Callis family. Whatever nonsense you can come up with to be able to, worm your way out of doing the thing people want to see. If you put those kind of shackles on Hangman Page for the rest of his career, don't be upset if he wants out. Don't be upset if he gets out of there. Don't be upset if the crowd's reactions change, which then necessitate him needing to leave. We've already seen MJF involved in one of these things that led to, a guy becoming an Observer Hall of Famer because he made evented 3 straight WrestleManias after leaving AEW. You don't want to set a precedent where guys are like, well, there's nothing. I've done everything I can do here. I'm creatively unsatisfied or unfulfilled. You've put me in this corner, Tony Khan. I can go make $1 million anywhere now at this point. Why not make it at a place where I can be in the main event again? Don't put yourself in this situation. Don't take money off the table of a potential AEW Wembley show where it's Adam Page versus Ospreay. It's Adam Page versus Swerve or any other big card you can do, because those are the guys that are the bridges to the future. The bridges to Kyle Fletcher. The bridges to Bandito. The bridges to Kevin Knight. So forth, so on. People that can have matches with MJF. Don't do it. I'm begging you not to do this dumb shit after you fucked it with Cody. It's just dumb history repeating dumb history. Don't do it. Learn the lesson. Don't burn your hand on the stove again. So yeah. Don't ruin the night. Don't be like, yeah, man, this is one of the greatest shows I ever saw, but fuck that main event finish. Don't do it. Cowboy gotta go over. Main character got to go over. Sorry. But yeah, that's all I got. I don't know how I got an hour and 19 minutes out of this, but I was able to do it. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you are listening to this with. I will put the link to Rich's 81 greater than 83 record in the show notes. It'll be also in the show notes, the Red Circle link where you can donate there, and be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, AEW Match Guide, Imp's Adventures, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Joshi'ing Around, and I didn't do this on purpose. I'm just thinking of shows, but I put the women's shows at the end, so forgive me. But Tunnel Talk and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.